Okay, so I decided to make a pair of shoes, Mardi Gras dress shoes for one of my friends. He's running for Mardi Gras King here locally. This is the glue that I'm using, like on the bottom. I'll show you here. So that's a piece of leather on the bottom. This is all hand stitched. I'm gonna do a video of making the right foot. This first one was, I'd never made a pair of shoes before, so I was kind of experimenting, seeing. But I glued the underside is nailed to the last, and then I glued the suede, let it set apart for a little bit and dry, and then I come in here and hammered it down. Made sure there was no air bubbles in it at all. Then I'll come back and cut away some of this, but you can see I can still get to, I got 3 nails in here. I got one here, one up here toward the front, one here toward the back. And I said all this is hand stitched, and I'm not going to stitch this last part until he tries it on, so I can see, because he's got a high instep. So I already took on the last and took and modified the last, and I used see here, I got a mess here. I've been working. That's what I used on the last. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and as you can see, it was almost $8. But I modified that, and then I modified the toe as well. This is how the last looked before. So it's got a pointed toe. So I modified it with this stuff. I made a square toe, and I've pulled that tight around it, hammered it down. You can see the nails around there. It's just to hold it, and then I put the glue on it, and then once this is dry, I'm gonna let it sit up for a few hours and dry real good, and then I'm gonna make the lower sole, attach it. I don't think I'm gonna get to the heel tonight, but this is the suede material. You can see it's fairly thin, but sewing it was really hard because it's flimsy to work with. I got this at Tandy Leathers, at Tandy in Birmingham or Hoover, Alabama. Matt there's been really good about helping me find stuff. I got that to go along, like I would punch along this, and then I got this 2-prong one, and that's for punching around the curve. And I also got this rubber mat here. As you can see, I went through the mat a couple times into the table, so my wife is probably not going to be happy with that. So here's what I'm using for the needles. I just used one of these needles, a straight needle, and as you can see, it's got a pretty big hole in it. And I take this thread. This is a polyester. I went to a fabric store. I got some hemp thread from a Tandy, but it didn't seem to want to pull through there as well. So I went to a fabric store. This is for sewing upholstery. So what I do is I feed that through the needle, and then I pull out the length that I need, and at the very end I roll it up and lick my fingers and roll it. And whenever you roll it, it makes a little knot on the end. Just pull it so it makes the knot, and then I'll pull that all the way through until it stops on the back side. So I push the needle through my good side and come all the way through until it stops, and then so in and out, go all the way around, and then I come back and I skip. I do the opposite so that it creates a complete stitch there. And then once I get to the end, then I'll back stitch more. Right here I got some glue, so I used this right here. It's called seam tape. Got that at Hobby Lobby as well. So it's double-sided tape, and you cut out your seam and then you lay it together and it sticks, and that kind of helps hold it while you sew it. So on this stitch right here, it's a little different. I went up through, pulled it tight, come across, so that's my straight stitch, and then I did that 2 or 3 times on the first one, and then I did like a Z pattern. So I come across, come up, come across, come across, like that, just step down underneath. So the stepping down took place under that. And then I bought some fabric, like this is from Hobby Lobby. This is the thickest canvas I could get, and it's really strong. And I glued the back of the heel, and I glued underneath here. While it was off, I glued it with this barge glue as well. So you put it on here, and then you put it on the leather, let it dry for maybe 10 minutes. And then I put it on there. And I picked one of these up at an antique store. It's $30. It was well worth spending. So I put it on that and hammered it. With a hammer. This is the hammer that I'm using. Got that at Home Depot. And to open up my holes, I picked up an ice pick at a antique store. Antique stores are around for this kind of stuff. Fairly cheap. I had to order these online. I got these from I think it's called Brooklyn Shoe Company. They got different lasts, but it's fairly inexpensive. So I don't feel like I'm out too much. But what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm gonna go have him try them on, and then I'm gonna see how much of this I'm gonna trim off exactly. And so it'll probably be something like that. And then I'm gonna stitch up. And then I'm gonna bought some elastic. Where's my elastic at? I bought this elastic at Hobby Lobby as well. And I'm gonna stick that. I'm gonna sew that in here to here, so it gives it a little bit of stretch. So if we can go into it, and I'm probably gonna take purple and put it underneath here, so when this separates a little bit, there'll be a little purple in here. I was gonna take purple and go down the center, just to strengthen that stitch, and glue it and then sew on either side of it. But I just don't like the way that looks. It's just too much. So I'm gonna take that purple, and then I'm gonna come on the back here. I'm gonna sew it on the back here, and then create a little loop. That way you can grab a hold of it and pull it up on the foot. And I've still got to stitch the inside. I'm gonna double up some material, and so to get this off the last, I put baby powder on it first before I glued on the insole. Now the insole, I wet that and got it really wet, and then I used this stuff right here. You can get that at a Walgreens or whatever. It sticks to itself. It's like a bandage stuff. And I wrapped around and around it and around it. And then I let it dry for 24 hours. So it naturally curved now to the last. And then I trimmed it so that it's level with the last. So I'm into wood carving as well, so it's a little wood carving knife. I cut around it just to trim it up a little bit. So That's where I'm at on it. I'm waiting on this glue to dry a little bit more, and then I'm gonna cut away some of this excess, take these nails out, and then I'm gonna glue a sole on here, and I'm gonna make it a little bit big and then trim it down. And then once I do that, then I'm gonna go through and get some brass nails. There's a metal plate. I'll show you on this last. So I was taping over and making a pattern, but there's a metal plate on this back piece. So I can take brass or copper nails, and I'm gonna go around and tack on that part. And then once I get it off the last, I'm gonna stitch it around here too, through the insole. So it'll be glued, stitched, and in the back it's gonna be nailed and not stitched. And then I may even put some decorative nails in it by putting it on top of the shoe here and driving the nails down through, and what it'll do is it'll cleat the nails just to give it some extra strength. So I'll probably do that right in here in the arch and so on and so forth to really hold that insole on there. And then I'll take the heel, cut the heel out of, I got some sole leather from Tandy, and I'll build up the heel. My friend wants a little bit higher of a heel on the shoe, so I'm gonna do a little higher heel on it. So whenever I design that, see how the front, I still got a good bit of play before the front comes down. So I can put a little bit bigger of a heel on here. So, like I said, I'll show more detailed video in when I do the left foot. This is the right foot, and so I'll show you a little more of that later on. Please like and subscribe, and feel free if you have any questions, and I'll try my best to answer any of them. I know this is a little different post than what I normally do, but please like and subscribe. Thanks.